Now here's what I want to share with you quickly, is that 50% of the people on the planet make less than $850 a year. That means that if you make more than $850 a year, which I don't know everybody in the room, but I'm guessing we all do, you're in the top 50%, top half of the world's population. That means the bottom half, those who make $849.99 a year or less, they look at you and say, I want to be like you. I wish I had what you had. Now, based on that, this is one that asked our challenge to me this week. First challenge is, and you may not be able to do this, but I'm going to give you three. You pick whichever one works for you. First challenge is to spend less than $8.50 this week on groceries. Because the reality is, here's the thing, $850 a year breaks down to you're making about $16.33 or 34 cents a week. And if, depending on who you are, you spend almost half of your income on food, you know, we spend it on shelter and all that stuff, but I don't think you're paying a mortgage if you're making $850 a year. But we spend most of it on food, so about half of $16, rounded down, is $8.50. And the challenge this week is not for us to say, hey you guys, here's what we're going to do to solve the world's problems. The challenge is for us to acknowledge how blessed we are, that we do have the resources to step in and help and assist the poor. Now, if you're like me, I don't do our grocery shopping, okay? Christy does it all, so, or if you're a person who we shopped for the month already. So for me personally, I can't take this challenge. What I could do is, because I spend time eating out, you know, as I'm running around, I'll stop and get up. You know, something here, a sandwich there, something junk food, is when you're eating out, to spend less than $8.50 this week. That's a happy meal and maybe 2 happy meals, or the children's meals. But the reality is that if you're making $850 a week, you're struggling financially just to feed yourself. And so if you really want to know what that feels like, and you really want to know how much God has blessed us, then that's the challenge for you. The other challenge is a little bit different. And you pick whichever one works for you, and that's to spend this week either sleeping on the floor or the mat. Because guys, I got to tell you, if you're making $850 a year, you're not sleeping on a ceiling Posturepedic. It's just not happening. And really quickly, when I was stationed in Panama, we had a nanny named Petra. And at that time, for $100 a month, $150 a month, you could have a full-time nanny, housekeeper, all that stuff. And one day she said, hey, well, you guys, I just purchased a home, my first home, and I want you guys to help come clear all the weeds around it so that I can start planting stuff. And I got to tell you, I got out there, and the home was a 10 by 10 square foundation, cement foundation, with tin walls plastered to the sides. That was it. There was nothing inside except the mat where she slept on the floor. No bathroom, no kitchen, no running water, nothing. But the look on her face when she showed me that home, have you guys seen Extreme Home Makeover? You see the look after they move the bus and people are in such joy? That's the joy she had at having that. So for you guys, the challenge for us is, if you're not going to do the food thing, then just maybe spend this week sleeping on the floor or mat, because I guarantee you that's what everyone who makes less than $850 a year is doing. Maybe it's bushes, maybe it's twigs, maybe it's just straight concrete, maybe it's a blanket, maybe it's some animal skin, but they're not sleeping in a bed. The final challenge is to spend the week without Facebook or texting. Now I gotta be honest, that's one I'm probably not gonna do. But here's the reality, guys. If you're making $850 a year, you don't have a cell phone with a data plan. You don't have a Starbucks card that you can go in and pay at an internet cafe the $5 or $10 for the 20 or 30 minutes just so you can update your Facebook status. And for those of us that do, we have all of these things. The idea is for us to just realize how blessed we are. The challenge for us is not that, you just look at this and say, oh, we just want to be hard on ourselves, but to really get an idea of how blessed we are and how much we really have. And here's the real reality, for us to realize that, as the song we sang earlier, when everything is stripped away, if you pull away how much we spend on food and what food we eat, and you pull away whether or not the house is 3 bedroom, 7 bedroom, or no bedroom, or no house, if you pull away the cell phones and the clothes we wear, all you have is just all of us equally standing in God's presence in need of God. There's absolutely, positively nothing that separates us.